Hello, everyone. I am so thrilled to be with you here tonight and to share with you. I am echoing, so I've got to figure out.
It's probably me.
Is it? Can you like go down the stairs halfway or
Yeah,
something?
but you're not doing anything.
Anyway, I apologize. We've got an echo here, and I'm trying to figure out what's causing the problem. But I wanted to share with you tonight the Rustic Harvest Suite. It is a beautiful, beautiful autumn suite. And it is something that you can do so much with. I want to share with you what I've done and I hope that you will like it. And if so, I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up and maybe comment to let me know if you do like it and what you think about it. Um, if anyone is here tonight, I'd appreciate it if you let me know where you're from. Um, this is September the 7th, and I am filming from Cindy's Creative Cards, and we are going to get started. So I'm going to pull you down so you can see what I'm doing. So, and I'm going to have to flip you so don't get dizzy. So here we go. And I'm going to flip you around so you'll be in the right orientation. And I'm hoping that's the case. Okay, here is the Rustic Harvest Suite. It has so many parts and pieces to it. You can see the cards that were made here from the folks at Stampin' Up. Over here, it shows you the stamp set, Hello Harvest. It shows you that you get these little uh, jewels to go along with this and some little leaf tags. I'm going to show you those. In addition, they give you the embossing additions toolkit. Um, this is your embossing buddy to make sure that you don't get ink where you don't want it to be. And this is for cleaning and brushing all of the embossing powder through this little hole back into the bottle. You get black cardstock and you also get this gorgeous, gorgeous paper. So I wanted you to see that. And over on this page, they also have pictures of some cards that made, the different pumpkins and gourds that are in the papers. So I am going to move this over to the side and we're going to get started. Now this is page 48, 49, and 50 in the mini catalog. If you would like to see it yourself. Okay, so let me see if I can get this to stop. Now, are we having feedback? No. Still. Let me see if this is down. Okay, that's off. Okay, we're going to get going again. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so here is this paper I was telling you about. It is so pretty. The colors in this paper is Old Olive, Cajun Craze, It's got crushed curry, I believe. Let's see what it says. Early espresso, Mary Merlot, and mossy meadow. Look at this beautiful, beautiful paper. And I'm going to show you how, and you can see I've cut this apart. I'm going to show you a card I made with that. Here's the other paper. Beautiful, beautiful pumpkins. And then you have these other papers. I'm sorry. You have all these black and white prints of acorns and leaves. And then on the back, you have this yellow print. Here you've got, look at this, guys. Isn't this gorgeous? And on the back, you have another black and white print. So on the back of this page that I cut all apart, black and white print. You saw this one. Here's the Cajun Craze print. And on the back, once again, it's black and white. And black does go beautifully with this. That's why the black cardstock comes in the suite. Okay, so I'm going to put all of this to the side now that you've seen these gorgeous papers, and I'm going to show you what I did and what we're going to do tonight. Okay, here's the card that I made using the stamp set, Hello Harvest, and the rustic pumpkin dies. Now, I just took these and put them inside of a case so they would, with all these little pieces, I was afraid I'd lose them. So this is the die set, and here's the stamp set. Okay, so this did not start out this way. This was my first attempt, and I used the stitch rectangle die around here to make this around the edge. I used the pumpkin, and this little curly Q is also in the Hello Harvest set. And all of these leaves, now these leaves stamped solid. So I got them in all different colors, and then I die cut them. The pumpkin I did with watercolor, and also the label, the sentiment up here. And then you have these beautiful jewels. I liked it, but it just wasn't what I wanted it to be. So then I did this. I'm going to pull you down a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so I embossed the back with a layer and brick embossing folder, and then I did basically the same thing, except I used a shimmery, the shimmery paper, this right here, shimmery white paper, to do my pumpkin and the label, so I could watercolor it. It's a little bit thicker and it's a little bit stronger. And do you see that shimmer? It has the most beautiful finish. So I used that for the watercolor part. And I like that a little bit better. And then I did Wink of Stella on these leaves and up here on the label, which makes it just a little bit fancier looking than this one. Now you can see just a bit of sparkle in this because that is from that shimmery paper. Okay, so then I'm going to show you a couple of other cards I made before we get started. I used this designer series paper, and I used that pumpkin again, and this was one of the stamps right here in the Hello Harvest stamp set, and I watercolored it and then stamped this hello using this cardstock as a background, and then of course I used the jewels that came in the suite. Then I decided this paper is so gorgeous, so I cut out these gourds and leaves and pumpkins and then used the paper in the pack to layer it. And this is also one of the sentiments in the pack, and I just added a little jewel. So there you go. We've got four different cards here that I made, but this is the one we're going to be doing tonight. So let's get started with this. So I started out with the pumpkin pie, and this is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I then used my bone folder to burnish it so it will lay flat and to get a good crease on it. I then, let's see what I got here. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. I then decided that I needed to emboss this with the Layer and Brick embossing folder. And I'm going to bring my embossing machine over. And I'm going to show you how I did this. Okay. So this side is where I have all of my plates. Because this is a 3D folder, we're going to be using this gray plate. It is plate number 4. And for the 3D folder, you're going to need this base plate, which is 1. You're going to be needing your embossing folder, which is the brick and mortar. I told you it was a Layer and Brick, but it's the brick and mortar 3D embossing folder. Okay, we're going to place our paper inside, and I think we need to do it this way, the horizontal way. Oh my, it slipped. Okay, and then I'm going to lay it down here just like that. I'm going to put the gray plate on, and then I'm going to just run it through the die machine. Now, I have this on a pad of paper. That's why it's slipping. Otherwise, it would not. Okay, let me scoot this back over here. And then we're going to take it out. And here we go. We have brick. So I'm going to put these plates over to the side. Now, we are going to adhere that to the cardstock that I have folded in a horizontal position, and I'm going to raise this up with dimensionals, Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. Okay, I got little bits and pieces here. This is what the pack would come looking like, self-adhesive foam mounts. And it comes in little, well, this is the sheet right here. But I have one already started over here, so I'm going to finish it. These edges you save for the smaller places that the big ones are too big for. So I'm going to put this on the 4 corners, if I can get hold of it. And then one here, one here. I'm probably using way too much, but I'd rather it stay put. than take a chance. So I'm going to put these down. All right, so I'm going to take a pick tool, and I'm going to use this spatula end and just pull it up. Okay, so we'll get rid of all of those and turn this over and center it. Okay, there we go. All right, the next thing that we need to do is we need to stamp our pumpkin and our sentiment, the label, and the leaves. Now, I've already stamped these leaves because they take a while to do. And I also cut them out. I didn't want you to see me cut them out one by one. So here they are, right here, just waiting. And also the little vine that was right here on the pumpkin, I've already cut it out. Okay. But what we're going to have to do now, I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to bring in my shimmery white paper because I want to stamp my pumpkin and the sentiment on it, because the watercolors work just a little bit better when you're using this paper. And then it doesn't have that rough texture that the watercolor paper has. I'm just making sure that I get ink everywhere. And then I'm going to stamp down. Okay. Now, we need to do the label. Right. Put that one aside. All right, now we're going to turn this, and I don't want to waste too much, so press down. There we go. So we have our sentiment, and we have our pumpkin. All right, so now we are ready to watercolor. Now, your watercolor, I wanted to show you too, the embossing folder is in our annual catalog. Oh my goodness, dear Silky. Sorry about that. The embossing folder, the Brick and Mortar 3D, is on page 176 in the annual catalog. And what was I going to show you? Oh, the shimmery white paper. The shimmery white paper is on page 140, right here, underneath the basic cardstock. If you go down, there it is. It's the first one. All right. Now, we're going to do our watercoloring. And when we do that, we're going to need a napkin. We're going to need our water painters. And we're going to need our watercolor pencils. Now, here comes my Silky girl again. Silky, I'm sorry, baby, not right now. Not right now, girl. Okay, she's staying pretty close to me because I have really been sick this past week. And I'm so sorry I missed seeing you guys last week. But the COVID booster really got me. Silk, no, baby, you got to get down. She has been rather tenacious tonight. So these watercolor pencils are in the annual catalog. They're on page 126. There are two sets, assortment 1, and it gives you the colors in assortment 2. There are more in the first assortment than in the second assortment. And here they are. This was the first one. And it has Real Red, Calypso Coral, Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight, Old Olive, Bermuda Bay, Pacific Point, Rich Razzleberry, Melon Mambo, Early Espresso, Basic Gray, Basic Black, and Whisper White. This one was the second set that came out. It's Cherry Cobbler, Flirty Flamingo, Cajun Craze, Crushed Curry, Granny Apple Green, Garden Green, Coastal Cabana, Balmy Blue, Night of Navy, and Gorgeous Grape. So we're going to be using some from both. We're going to be using the Pumpkin Pie from this set, which is this one. No, that's Real Red. They'll fool you. You have to read it to make sure. Pumpkin Pie. Great. And then I'm going to also pull out, not in this one, the Crushed Curry, which we'll be using for this. All right. So let's get started. So what I do to start is I just take my watercolor pencil and I trace these lines. And I do it sort of with a heavy hand, not where you're going to ruin the paper, but enough that it comes off in a heavy cover. And you'll see why in just a second. And this is really not hard to do at all. I love these pencils. There are techniques, there's tricks that will help you to have better luck and success with them. And I'm going to show you a few tonight. Okay, so I have used a heavy hand. Now I'm going to lightly just go over it. And this doesn't mean that I go over it completely with a full cover. I'm just sort of lightly putting in some color here. Not much. Okay, now I'm going to take my water painter. This one is a little bit bigger than the other one. Make sure my water's flowing. And I'm going to go over what I traced and pull that color down. And I'll do the same thing from the bottom. Pull it up and pull this down. You don't really need a whole lot. To get a full cover. Now, if you do need it to be a little darker, you can always go back with your watercolor pencil and go over it again, which we probably will. Okay, Silky baby. Stop. She wants to get up here and join us. Okay. Now, going to go back with this orange, this pumpkin pie. Actually, we need to let this dry a little bit. So let's move on to this one and then we'll go back to that. Okay, we're going to do the darker color right here on the edges where shadowing would be, because you want to make it appear as if it is bending, curling. So it's going to be much lighter through here. Okay, so then you're going to have a shadow here, and this will be darker. And this is going to be darker. However, that needs to show that it is bending, so we're going to leave it a little bit lighter right here. And the same here. Everywhere there is, it's going to be folding over. You want it to be a tad darker. Okay, I think we're about ready. Okay, I'm using the finer tip this time. I'm going to pull that in and try to get rid of the blobs. Now, I could have, right there, I needed to have it a little bit darker. My kitty is right here on top of me. I hope that she is not going to decide to get in the middle of it, although she has tried. She's a sweetheart. She stays by my side. She is very loyal. And she has, no dear. And she has known that I was not well and stayed right with me. Tell you what, I had COVID when it first appeared in our world and was in the hospital for 16 days. I came home and then ended back up in the hospital for another week. And because of COVID, ended up in the hospital for another month in March. So I know what it can be. This bout that I had with the booster was nothing like that, but it was enough. I had a fever of 102, enough to really make me feel pretty rotten for about a week. Okay, so can you see we have it darker here and here and in places where that ribbon is curling. Now, we can go back to our pumpkin. And I'm going to just go over this a little bit more. No silky. Darling, you can't do this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You got to give her credit for trying. And you don't even have to go back and wet this again, or unless you just want to. And I did want that to be a little bit lighter there because it's like the sun is shining on it. Okay. Okay, I should have, or could have, I guess I should say, use the stays on ink, which would have made it less likely to have this blur right here. Wow, that's a lot of color. I was trying to even it out, and I think I made it worse. Okay, so I'm going to lightly when something like that happens, I have to always try to fix it. And if I just leave it alone, okay, we can shadow in this just a bit more. And if you keep working at it, it'll smooth on out. You can pull this color up. But I don't want to work at it to the point that it starts to smear all the ink. Okay, so what we're going to do up here is we're going to use crushed curry, which is already over here. The stalk of the pumpkin sort of dries out and it becomes that white beigey color. We could even put a little bit of greenery in there if we wanted to. Or a little bit of, let's see, early espresso would look good. Especially right in there where those dark lines are. Okay, now we got our pumpkin and we have our sentiment. So it's time now for us to cut these out. So I'm going to get my die cutting machine again and bring it over. And I'm going to set it, I'm going to move this so it won't slip. There we go. Set it right here. And here's our base plate. Let's see if I can put it where you can see it. There's plate 1. And here is plate 2. Now here's where you would put another plate, this clear plate, that is 3. And then you would have another clear plate on top of whatever you're embossing. But I have replaced this bottom clear plate with the Magic Mat. And the reason for that is it prevents this from bowing. And I'll show you what I mean. Here are some that I had before I got Magic Mat. And you can see how it has bowed. And it makes it sort of difficult to get a good cut. So this has been wonderful. It has absolutely eliminated that for me. Okay, we're going to do both of these at the same time. Now, when you're die cutting, it is often best to put things at an angle so it goes through the machine easier. I'm going to get my pumpkin die. And we're going to place it on there just so. And I'm going to get my surgical tape. And I'm going to tape it down so we won't have, it won't slip. I'm making it slip. There we go. Goodness. Okay. There's that one. Then we have this one, which is this. And I'm going to tape it down. Okay, like that. Now, I'm going to use this clear plate. And I'm going to run this through. Just like this. It really takes no effort at all for it to go through. And here we go. We have our pumpkin right here. And look, the surgical tape did not stick to it. It absolutely will just come right off without causing a problem with the image. And so I'm going to take this off. Like that. And here we go. We've got our sentiment. Okay. So I'll move this out of the way. Okay. Now we've got all our parts and pieces here that we can put our card together. Here's our card base. And the first thing we need to do is to start building a bed of leaves for it to sit on. I want to balance these colors. This is just to get an idea of where I want things to be placed so we can do this. I don't like those two greens. Let's see. Let's do a yellow. There. How's that? That would work. All right. So I'm just going to slide it down like that. And then I'm going to start from the middle. And I'm going to glue these down. right. And then there's a yellow. We're just sort of balancing these colors out. Now, I want to make sure that I leave enough lift there that the pumpkin can go underneath. And you know what? I don't really like that orange pumpkin there. Let's put a green one. And I'm going to do it on put the glue on the bottom part. So this leaf will lift up. And there. It'll set like that. Then this yellow one can go right here. Now, let's go ahead and glue this down. And we'll hold that for a minute because it's trying to curl, and that's from the water in when we were doing the watercolor. Okay, now let's tuck that right back there. And I am using my art glitter glue tonight. The Tombow glue, I don't know how and why, but it gets all over me and makes my hands so sticky. And then everything sticks to me. So I pull my art glitter glue out because it always comes through for me. All right. Let's put one of these over here, like that. And then maybe, not that one, there's another red one surely. Oh, where did my other red one go? Huh. Well, I don't know what happened to my other red one. So, we're just going to keep going here. I'm going to put this green one here. See if I can lift that up a little bit. Yep. Oop, that's hanging off. So that's not going to work. A little bit closer in. There you go. And we can use a yellow. And I'm going to slide that up under there. Like that, to sort of balance that red one. Like that. Okay, and I think just that one right there. Okay, now we got our little squiggly. Right here. Goodness. Let's see, how do I want to do that? Put him like that. Okay. Then we're ready to do this. Okay. Now we could have made this yellow sentiment a little bit darker had we played with it. But there we go. Now, the last thing we need to do is get some Wink of Stella. And this is has glitter in it. And it just sort of makes things pop a little bit. Now, it comes in silver and gold. And this one is clear, though. And the silver and the gold is really great for Christmas. And speaking of Christmas, we're going to get started with Christmas because there's lots to be done. I am going to show you how to make some tags and then a little tag book to put it in. So that will be coming soon. Okay, so there we go. We've got, do we need one more right here? I think I like that. So let's put that in. Right there. And then we can do our Wink of Stella on that. You do have to be careful when you're working with this Wink of Stella on these dark inks because it will smear it. Okay, there we go. Wishing you the loveliest day. All right, so we have got this one with the mortar, brick and mortar background. Then we have it plain. We have this one and this one that I made earlier. And this I use the time worn embossing folder for this one. So you have to let me know which one you like the best. The one we made tonight or one of these others. I think this one is my favorite. I love the hello. I love the flowers. I love the green. It's just, I just love it. And this too. I like that too. I like them all actually, but this one's my favorite. So you let me know what your favorite is. I'm going to pull you back up. Oops, I got to turn you back around. Oh my. Okay, I think we're back. I'm sorry. Let's get that out of the way. Okay. I want to say thank you so much for watching, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching on the replay. I appreciate your support. And if you did like it, please leave me a comment, maybe like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel. And your help is so much appreciated. If you do need a demonstrator, please let me know. I will be more than happy to help you with whatever you need. If you need a free catalog, I can send it out to you, whether it's the mini or the annual or both. So whatever you need, I'm here for you. So that's it for tonight. I appreciate everything, and I will be seeing you in the next one when I will feel a little bit better, and we're going to start on Christmas. Something to look forward to. So thank you so much. Good night.